first time ever in Miami, and I'm really glad that I'm here for the week. I'm here with Brady. He has like a little work thing, and so I'm just gonna be bopping around like the city and just like hanging by the pool by myself until he's done with work stuff. If you guys don't know, he owns a insurance agency with State Farm, and so his employees are holding down the fort right now. But yeah, so like the thing he's here for today is because like they've done a really good job in the last year of just like being top of their game. So I'm so proud of him. But I'm gonna be by myself, so we're gonna be doing some book shopping. I have 3 books with me, and these are the ones that I brought to read. I have The Favorites, which has been on my TBR for so long. I really want to read it. I feel like it's gonna be one that I'll love. I also have Revive Me, which is part 2, and it's called Part 2, The Affair. And I loved Revive Me, like the first, like part 1. So I immediately had to buy it and put it on my TBR to read. And then I also brought Landing on Mars because this is another book that I've been really wanting to read. It's by an indie author that I feel like I'm just gonna absolutely love. I'm not gonna give you guys a room tour, but I am gonna show you guys our view and all the things that you will be able to see whenever I go outside by the pool. We have a view of the city from over here. You can see there's the city, and then there's also like a little bit of water, and then behind me is the like ocean, which I'll show you guys whenever we go out by the water later to read. But I do want to get out of here pretty soon because I really want to go to a bookstore and find some books, specifically find Kennedy Ryan's book. I've been so excited to read it. So I am gonna try to hurry up and grab my things, get out of here. It came out today and I just cannot wait to read it. I was able to get the book that I wanted to get, and I'm so glad that I did. I've seen a lot of like stuff online about people saying it's been hard for them to find Can't Get Enough at their bookstore, and I did not have any trouble because I went to an indie bookstore. They had so many copies in the back. They had so many copies just like out on the table, so I felt really grateful to be able to go. I will say it makes me think a lot about how like many books I'm missing out on, like buying them from a bookstore like the day of when I'm in my hometown, because we don't have any independent bookstores that sell new books. So it's just one of those things that I have to like drive out of town to get if I want to support an indie bookstore. I usually have to drive like an hour and a half or so. There is a bookstore that's like 45 minutes away, but they don't really have a ton of romance like this. They probably wouldn't have had this book, but I'm so excited that I got this book, guys. It is a dream to have in my hands. This has been one of my most anticipated reads of the entire year. I think this book and The Conditions of Will were probably my top books that I was excited to read. I am going to start this one today. I really want to dive into it. We're going to be going out by the beach, and we're going to go by the water and read, so I think it'll be a great time to start it. I do have some other books that I picked up. I'm not going to show you guys these books until I get back, just because I don't want to like show them yet. I just don't want to show them yet. I want to show them to you guys later. So I'll probably show you guys maybe tomorrow. This book right here is about 432 pages. Really, really excited to dive into this, but I'm really sad that the series is going to be over. Both book 1 and 2 I rated 5 stars. So I feel like this is going to be another book that I will love. I have heard that this is the spiciest book out of the 3. A lot of people said that book 1 wasn't like as spicy, and then book 2 was spicier. I think it was flip-flop. I feel like book 1 was spicier than book 2, but book 2 still didn't have a lot of spice, and neither did book 1. So this book I think is supposed to have like 3 chili peppers type of spice. So nothing too wild, but it still does have a little bit more, and maybe because he's a billionaire, I don't know. But on the back it says, Hendrix Berry lives a fabulous life. She has phenomenal friends, a loving family, and a thriving business that places her in the entertainment industry, rarefied air. Your vision board, she's probably living it. She's a woman with goals, dreams, ambitions, always striving upward, and in the midst of everything, she's facing her toughest challenge yet, caring for an aging parent. Who has time for romance? From her experience, there's a low ROI on relationships. She hasn't met the man who can keep up with her anyway, until him. Tech mogul Maverick Bell is a dilemma wrapped in an I cannot talk today. Exquisitely tailored suit and knee-melting charm. From their first charged glance at the summer's hottest party, Hendrix feels like she's met her match. Only he can't be. May be the first to make her feel this seen and desired and appreciated, but he's the last one she can have. Forbidden fruit is the juiciest, and this man is off limits if she plans to stay the course she set for herself. But when Maverick gives chase, pursuing her, spoiling her, understanding her, is it time to let herself have something more? And then on the back, Emily Henry said, Kennedy Ryan pours her whole soul into everything she writes. It makes for books that are heart-searing, sensual, and life-affirming. And then on the front, Abby Jimenez said, Kennedy Ryan is my go-to for deep, emotional, and sensual storytelling. I think one thing that I already am like obsessed about with this book is the cover, because how often do we see characters on a cover of a book that are black, that have hair that is like textured like this? I feel like we really see the loose curls. We see a lot of the like long, hair. You don't see this. This is like chin length, like big afro, and it's beautiful. But again, it's like something that you don't usually see on the cover of a book. And I feel like even when there are black characters, usually the characters have braids, or they have just like big luscious curls, or even like short curls, but not like this texture of hair. So I feel like Kennedy Ryan is always doing something that is kind of going against the grain. I feel like in her last book, the book focused so much on self-love and finding yourself, and that's very rare to find in a romance. I feel like a lot of the time you'll see romances that like solely focus only on the romance, and she really like turns like something on its head in every book. And in the first book, I feel like the thing that she kind of turned on its head was a relationship that ended because of something that's like very, very hard that the couple went through, and then them deciding if they want to rekindle that relationship again years later, because I feel like that's kind of taboo. Like if you divorce someone, like you're done, but they like had a business together and kids together, and so you don't really get to see a second chance romance where a couple has like ended things years past, and then they kind of like rekindle. So excited to see the things that she's really gonna like turn on its head in this book. I think one thing that's gonna be really unique is how she's gonna be talking about someone who's child free by choice. I know Hendrix in this has chosen to not have children, and she also is someone who is just like, doing her own thing. Like she's living her best life, and I'm really excited to read that in a romance, because again, I feel like you usually don't read that in a romance. So I'm gonna take this out by the beach. We're gonna read this. I'm excited to dive into it. I feel like today and just like being here in Miami is the perfect setting. Guys, I'm opening up this book for the first time. It's signed by Kennedy Ryan in the front. This paper is like actually hard, like on the front part where she signed it. But I wanted to show you guys this insert. I think this insert is only in the independent bookstore copy. I think. I don't quote me on that. Like, I don't know 100% sure, but I know she said there are specific copies in indie bookstores that have something different in them, and then the copies in like Barnes or online, they like don't have like that little special thing. And I think that this is what it is. I think it was just supposed to be like incentive to support like the indie bookstores. She's so good at that. Also, this is probably the first book where I'm going to read all of the praise and all the acknowledgments and everything in the front, because I've just been so excited to read this book. It's been just like top of my list, and I cannot wait to dive into it. This says, for the ones who have used your magic to lift, protect, and illuminate everybody else, rest is our new resistance. Rest and shine, my loves, rest and shine. I love that. Okay, I barely started this. I'm only 8 pages in. What do you think that I'm going to rate it?
You think you're gonna rate it?
Yeah, like by the end, what do you think I'm gonna rate it?
5.
I honestly think I'm gonna rate it a 5 too. I'm like 8 pages in. But we'll see. Just got back to the room, and I want to give you a quick little recap of what I've read so far. I haven't gotten super far into it. I'm only on chapter 4. I'm not gonna talk too long out here because it is super, super loud. There's like these big fans over here. But I do love our balcony. It has a really pretty view. This is our view from the balcony. You can see that the sun is already going down, which is incredible. And there's like a little water area over there. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's like way down there, but it's easier to see like with the naked eye, but it's very pretty. But I am absolutely loving this book so far. Like I said, I'm only on chapter 4, so page 43, but this book just goes to show how you never know what someone is going through, because whenever we read Soledad's story, she's someone who is very much going through it. Like, she has a lot going on, and the whole time I feel like you are just feeling every bit of the pain that she's working through and figuring out how to stand on her own. And just honestly, all the characters in every single book, they have their own challenges, but this book is showing how even the people who are just like life of the party, they're fun, they're the ones that everyone kind of goes to for like help or just to like be like the funny person, like they also need that too. And like the strong ones, you know, they need support, and I feel like this is such a testament to that. This would be a great book club book. I'm not super far into it, but it obviously on the back talks about how the main character Hendrix is working through something with her mother. I think it says what it is on the back, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I feel like I didn't realize how much Hendrix was going through in the other books until reading this book. So it's just made me have an even more of an appreciation for her as a character, and it's just a reminder that you never know, like you absolutely never know what people are going through. I feel like I'm gonna relate to this so much because, oh, there it goes. It's like a helicopter, like going right over the water. But I'm gonna try to wait for it to go through. But I feel like I'm gonna relate to this so much because the main character in this is taking care of her mother, and I saw my mom take care of my dad and like his health issues. And I think I've shared this in the past, like my dad, whenever he passed like a year and a half ago, he was on hospice, and that was something that he chose, which I don't know if I've actually shared that like really a lot of places, because it's something that I still struggle to grapple with on my own, that you know, someone who's going through a lot of pain, who's going through something that's like so hard, would make that choice, but you're doing it for the greater good of yourself. Like my dad knew where he was going, like, but also it's just hard because like you know that they're never going to be a part of those memories. And you're seeing in this book how Hendrix is grappling with the fact that her mom is never going to get better, and she's only going to continue to get worse, and it's going to continue to get harder and harder and harder. And it starts out with a scene where it's like already like it's hard. I feel like Candy Ryan does a great job of weaving the struggles of like being human into a romance, because everyone has something they're going through, and while you're navigating those things, you also are navigating like going on dates, falling in love, like having feelings, and having to like, you know, put your struggles or trauma or whatever kind of in the back burner to put yourself at the forefront so that you can actually enjoy life. And this is just like such a testament to that. So really loving this so far. I am on Maverick's point of view right now, and I just got to a part where it said, they're like, is that Grip James over there? And then someone goes, yes, I did I forget to tell you he's performing right after the fireworks? And I love when I see cameos from characters in other books in like the books that I read. And Grip, he is in I forget what the series is called. Flow is the first book, and then Grip is the second book, and Still is the third book. I've only read Flow, which is like a novella, but I've heard that Grip and Still are some of the like most highly rated books on Goodreads of Kennedy Ryan's like ever. I actually, whenever I was talking to Kennedy Ryan, I did like an interview of her last year. It was like face to face. It was so sweet because Brady set it up as like a little gift to me, and I just felt so honored to be able to talk to literally the queen of romance. But whenever I was talking to her, and I'll link that video below if you guys want to watch it, but whenever I was talking to her, and I also have it on my podcast so you can listen to it if you're like more of a listener. Whenever I was talking to her, she was saying that one of her most highly rated books is Still, and it is also one of the most highly rated books on all of Goodreads as well. So it's not even just like highly rated by her, but it's like just highly rated on Goodreads in general. So I would definitely want to get to that series. But Grip, he's an artist, and in that series he's like the main character obviously, but I think it's cool that they're like interweaving these characters throughout these different stories. So that's just like really neat, and it makes me more excited to pick up the other books from other series. I'm gonna be so sad when this is over, like so sad. Forever, the like Netflix TV show just came out and everyone's talking about it, and I think the only thing that's making me like not just absolutely be so sad, like in spiral that this is over, is the fact that we're going to get a TV series with like, I think John Legend is the producer for Before I Let Go, so I really hope that they make the entire Skyland series into like a TV series, because man, and I don't know, I hope they do it justice. But I feel like if Kennedy Ryan is like in the back end of like production and stuff, she will make sure that it's how it's supposed to be. But I think that this is such a great story with characters that are so well-rounded, and her writing is impeccable. I was down there and Brady was like, oh, you haven't like read like really as fast as you normally do. Part of it is because there is a lot of descriptors, but it's not descriptors that are like boring. It's descriptors that you like literally need. Like there is a point when you get that first meeting, not first meeting, but like when the first, like the guy and the girl, Maverick and Hendrix, when they first see each other. And again, this is spoiler free, so like anything I share in this video is not going to be something that's going to like spoil the book. But there's a meeting at the beginning, and I want to like read a section of it, just like a tiny sentence, so you can kind of see like what I'm talking about. Because the way that she writes is just so beautiful and poetic, and it makes me not want to put the book down, but it also makes me realize that like not everyone can do this. So whenever he sees Hendrix, it says, her face is lit not just by the late setting sun or the pool lights that have already come on as darkness approaches, but illuminated by something inside. She is luminous with skin the color of rich cocoa. And then it like, I'll go down to, well, I guess I'll like read this part too. The flash of her pink tongue is delicately clenched between the boldness of a smile built from straight white teeth and absolute radiance. A cloud of coiling natural curls halos her striking face, the afro the afro dark and full and luxuriant. She's tall. Hendrix has homegrown thickness that is tight in some places and voluptuous in others. She has long lines and deep curves, lush and ripe like summer fruit. A handful. Like, just the way that's written is like, you're trying to make me swoon. Like, you are trying to make me absolutely swoon. Like, that is his first, like, when he sees her, and there's still more to that, so like I'll leave it so you guys can like, you know, read it for yourself. But the way that it's written is just so beautiful. So like instead of just being like, oh, he saw her, like, she's cute, or like, oh, he saw her, he was attracted to her, it's like you get to feel the emotion behind what he's seeing as he sees her. And so I do think that this book is going to be one that I really want to savor and take in, and I'm not going to want it to be over. And I'm really excited just to get into it even more, because I just know it's going to be so good. Speaking of books, I feel like I talked about J.L. Seegers and how I read the second book in her series. I read Restore Me first, wasn't my favorite. Honestly, I was not sure if I wanted to continue the series because I just didn't really care for it. And then I read freaking Revive Me. It's not called freaking Revive Me. It's called Revive Me. And I read Revive Me and absolutely fell in love with Mallory and Chris. And I can't stop thinking about them. I want to continue the series. And I brought the second book. I brought the third book with me, but it's like the second in their little like 2-part story. I think there's actually a 3-part story, but I just saw on J.L. Seeger's Instagram that she was acquired by Bloom Books, and they're redoing all the covers, which I think is honestly great, because the covers, they kind of all look the same. And so sometimes I get the books confused. Like when I go to buy something online, like I want to buy like the rest of the series, it's hard to figure out like which one comes next and like not double buy because the covers look like super similar. But I saw that they're going to redo all the covers, and they're releasing them all throughout next year, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it's this year. I think it's next year. Yeah, I think they're releasing them all next year. And then she's also going to write 3 more books in that same series, and they're going to be released in 2027. So I cannot wait. I literally cannot wait. That is a series that I've been really excited to pick up, and it's so rare that I'll like read a book and then immediately want to like pick up the next one in the series. Usually I'm just like, oh, it was good, like I'll keep it moving. But that's one series that I'm like, I need more of. It's so good. So if you have not checked out her series, you don't have to read the first one. And I'm not saying don't, because I know a lot of people do love it, but I feel like only read the first book, which is called Restore Me, if you really like spice, like really like spice. The second book, I think, has a lot less spice and a little bit more of the plot driving the story. The first book definitely has a great plot that's driving the story, but the spice definitely takes over in a lot of places, which for me like isn't my favorite. But you don't have to read the first one to like get into the series. You can start with the second book, which is Mallory's story. But yeah, I cannot wait. I love seeing that these authors are getting their flowers. They so deserve them. So yeah, anyway, I was just thinking about that whenever I was thinking about like the TV series. I hope a lot of these authors start getting like TV series for these books, because I need to see them on screen. But anyway, I did not plan on staying out here for very long. I wanted to just chat for a little bit, but we're gonna go inside, change, and then I'll probably go out to the beach sometime tomorrow and read a little bit more. I want to give you guys a little book haul. I ended up getting some books when I was at the Books and Books independent bookstore, and I never showed you guys, so I want to show you guys now. We're getting ready to head out, and I figured it'd be fun to show you just because I didn't want to wait until I got home, and I kind of wanted to pack these. So I ended up getting 4 books. Obviously, you guys saw one of the books that I got. I started this already, loving it so far. And then these are the other 3 that I picked up. The first book that I picked up is Only Because It's You by Rebecca Fissia. and it says, sometimes you need to take a leap of faith to land exactly where you're meant to be. This book looks like a really cute one. Honestly, what's pulled me in more than anything is the cover. It says, Ms. is not the marrying kind. She's more of the no strings attached kind, no labels, only fun. So when she finds a diamond ring in her casual but very hot hookups gym bag, she immediately ends things and runs. Cal is one of Mrs. best friends, an aspiring actor who moved to Toronto from Ethiopia and is on the brink of his big break. But when he's suddenly at risk of having to return home and leave Toronto forever, Ms. panics. She can't imagine her life without Cal. There's only one solution. Ms. will marry Cal to become his spousal sponsor. He'll get to keep pursuing his acting career, and she'll get to keep her best friend in the city. It'll be quick, short, only on paper marriage between friends, followed by a quick, easy divorce. Nothing will change, and life will go back to normal, right? Looks so good. I love a marriage of convenience trope, but I don't see them very often, and I feel like it's because it's hard to figure out a reason why someone would need a marriage of convenience, but this seems like a very believable reason. I also picked up the romance rivalry. This is by Susan Lee. If you guys have seen one of my YouTube shorts that is like the most viewed, you guys will know that I did a little free library like fill up. I just put a bunch of books in there, and whenever I was getting ready to fill it up, you guys know I do this like every month. Whenever I was getting ready to fill it up, I actually asked, or didn't ask, I said like online I was getting ready to fill it up, and then Susan Lee, she messaged me and was like, I would love to put books into the free library. And I never really take people's book donations for the free library because I just always encourage people to do it in their own town. But she was like, I'd love to send you a bunch of books. So she sent me a ton of her books, but she also sent even more books of other people's writing, and it was the biggest box ever. And I just feel like this author will always have a special place in my heart. I still have not read one of her books, and I literally need to, and I think it's just one of those things where whenever I know an author is just like an incredible person, and I feel like they're just, you know, genuinely so kind, like I always get nervous to read their books because like I want to love it so much. Does that make sense? Like I want to champion behind them, and I want to be like, oh my god, this is a 5-star read, like I'm obsessed with this book, and I don't want to be the person that's like 2 stars, you know what I mean? So I'm really excited to dive into this one. This is her newest romance, and it says, every love story needs a good trope. Irene Park loves romance novels so much she's made a career of them online as an online book reviewer with a mass following. But Irene's real life dating story, non-existent. So when she starts her freshman year of college, she sets her sights on finding true love using the one thing she really understands, romance book tropes. Enter Aiden, Irene's online book review rival and ultimate nemesis, when Aiden challenges her to see who can find love by trope first. He becomes the one person standing in the way of her getting everything she wants, both professionally and personally. As Irene tackles the challenges of college life and struggles to figure out what she really wants for herself, all while trying to fall in love, she realizes that the ultimate happily ever after has been right there the entire time. It just takes finding the right trope to realize it. And then I also got this book. I'm not going to read the back of this one because I feel like you guys kind of already know what it's about. It's Audrey and Bash Are Just Friends, and this is a continuation of 7 Days in June, and it's from the daughter's perspective. So those are all the books that I picked up. Cannot wait to read these. This is definitely one that I've been just like so excited to pick up. So I'll probably pick that one up after I finish this one. Back home, I want to put away some of the books I recently picked up, but I also want to give you guys a little haul of some books that some bookish stuff that I grabbed that came in the mail while I was out of town, and a little recap of everything that I read on the plane. Let's go through everything that came in the mail first. I love whenever I go out of town and then I come home and there's like goodies for me in my mailbox. It just makes me happy. This right here is from a small shop. The shop is called All Things Lillian, and it says, thank you so much for your order, supporting your order and supporting my art. It means the world and more. I hope your happy mail brings you and others joy. Have a sparkly day. And I got lots of stuff. So the first thing that I picked up, and I want to show you guys, that's the Bookish thing. Well, I guess I'll show you guys this first. I got this little hanging like thing for your car, and it smells really good. And it says girlhood on it. So cute. And then I also picked up this laptop case. I've been wanting to get a new one because I got one from Vera Bradley and it just like wasn't what I was expecting. It wasn't as soft, and this is perfect. This is super soft. And it actually gives like a real like safety net kind of. I feel like the one I got from Vera Bradley just feels like it's just regular like fabric. This is soft. It has Velcro here. It's really plushy. It's gonna be perfect for my laptop. And I bought a matching little cup holder thing. This is for like if you get a coffee or a matcha, you put it in there. Thought it would be super cute. So like if I order one, I can take it and put it in there, and then it'll also match my laptop. And then I got a second one of those because they had a bunch of different patterns. I've been really big into getting cutesy stuff like this just because I feel like it really adds to, I don't know, the day. Like it really romanticizes my life in a really small way that I can't even really explain. And this is the second one I got. Again, it's another little cup holder, so I'll put my drink in there. I'll probably keep these in my car because I don't think I'll use these when I'm at home. There just like really isn't a point to put like a glass in there. And then I got a Kindle case. I only have one right now, and I wanted to be able to have one to switch up. And this is for my Paperwhite. And this one kind of looks similar to the one that I own, but it's a little bit different, and I love it. It has just these little flowers on them, or on it. It's very subtle, which I think is so adorable. And I'll show you guys the difference between the two whenever I get done showing you guys this little haul, but just thought it would be really cute. It has the little stand on the inside, and it's just perfect. So that's everything that I grabbed from that shop. I will try to link these below. I try to link everything if I can, if I remember. It's hard to sometimes if I don't remember, but usually you guys, if you want something specific, you'll like message or comment or whatever, and I always try to answer every single comment. So if I miss something, comment and I will link it for you. So for my notes, I am about 115 pages in. I'm in chapter 14 now, loving this so far. I made a bunch of notes because there were so many things, like as I was reading this, like on the plane and stuff, I was like, I need to talk to you guys about it. And of course this is spoiler free, but this is more of like my feelings behind what I'm reading, and I hope that is like totally fine with you guys. Obviously there wouldn't be a vlog if I wasn't sharing my feelings and I wasn't sharing spoilers, so I think that that is fine. But on page 65, the book says, and I put down some quotes, so if you guys don't want to hear any quotes, these aren't quotes that are even like they're not like going to spoil anything. They're just they're quotes that I think pulled out something in me. But this says, I think I wrote it down actually. Oh, it says, 40's not bad. Actually, I'm having the time of my life. My career is on fire. I know myself better than I ever have. In my 20s, I was just running, always in the streets, and for what? And in my 30s, I started asking big questions and looking for answers. Now I know exactly who I am and what I want, and I can finally afford myself. And that is just such a really like comforting thing to read, because I am 32, will be 33 this summer, and I feel like all you hear about is just like negative like stuff when it comes to getting older. And I have always been raised to be excited to get older. My mom, she's in her 60s, and she is just always like someone asked her age and she's not like, oh, I don't want to tell you. She's like, oh, like, you know, she's just very confident. And like the alternative is if you don't get older, you're going to die. So like she's always just been encouraging us to love our age as we get older. And I've always felt that way. But I think the older I get, the closer I get to 35 and to 40, the more people just like talk badly about your age. And it's such a weird feeling because in your 20s, everyone's excited to turn 21. And like, you know, when you get older, no one is really like sad about it. But then as you get into your 30s, people are like, oh, like, how do you feel? It's like, I feel great. Like, so it's really just encouraging and comforting to read something like that. And I also feel like this is a great book for someone who wants to read characters who are older than like 18 and 20 and 21, because I feel like you read that a lot in romance books. And then on page 75, there's something else that stuck out to me. I tried to like write down everything because I really wanted to talk to you guys in real time, but obviously on the plane that was not going to happen, just because there were so many people around and like I was literally right next to someone. But in this part of the book, Kindle Ryan, she shares that less than 2% of Black entrepreneurs receive venture capitalism. So, or they're like, they rarely receive like funding from venture capitalists, and I had no idea that that was the case. And I love that Kindle Ryan is always adding in bits of information that I feel like people need to know, but they wouldn't know unless they were like digging for that information themselves. That was something that I like was aware of. Like I know that a lot of Black entrepreneurs are not receiving funding in the same way that other businesses are, but I didn't know that percentage. And so it was just so cool to see her add in these nuggets of like things that are happening in real life in real time. And I think I listened to her, I can't remember where it was, but she might have shared a video on her Instagram or something, but she was saying, oh, it was on Good Morning America. And she was saying that romance is actually the best genre to add in social commentary because it's a fluffy genre. It's a fun, I mean, obviously you're gonna get your heart wrecked because it's Kindle Ryan, but like, it is the safest genre to get any kind of social commentary because it is like a book where you know you're gonna get a happily ever after. And I just think that that is really beautiful that she thinks of her readers in that way, making sure that we feel safe enough and that we feel comforted enough to get hard-hitting information that maybe isn't as easy to digest, but it's in a digestible way because it's a romance. So thought that that was really cool, seeing that in there. And then on 78, oh my gosh, this part right here, I was literally giggling because the characters are kind of going back and forth at this point, and you don't really know like if they're going to, like what's gonna happen next with them. And in this part, I was literally giggling because she was like, we could easily organize things with our assistants, but like they're communicating because they enjoy communicating with each other. And that to me, my feet were literally giggling. Like my feet were literally kicking and I was giggling because I was like, ooh, like it's gonna, and I obviously know it's a romance, so like I know it's going to get, like they're gonna get even more connected, but every little nugget that I was getting from them, I was like soaking in. And then on chapter on page 83, you get bits of the group chat, and after she has like a conversation with Maverick, she obviously has to go back and report to the group chat, and the group chat is coming up the whole time that they're talking to each other, like just going back and forth, like the way that they like text is so real to life, and it's so hard to like get that in a book. Like Kindle Ryan perfectly captured what it's like to be in a group chat with a bunch of women and put it in a book. Like I loved it. And then on 84, oh my gosh, okay, so this part, Hendrix, she gets a call from her aunt, and her aunt is telling her about her mom, just kind of giving her an update. And Hendrix, from the back of the book that her mom has this illness, and she's trying to divide herself between her job and put her hands all in this while she's trying to build this thing as an entrepreneur, but she's also trying to like take care of her family and take care of her mom. And so her aunt calls her and is just giving her like a quick update, and you can see Hendrix just get like this frantic energy about her where she's like, oh, I can come home, like what do you need? And she was just like, hey, I'm just calling you, like I'm just giving you an update. And the aunt, she goes, I'm not calling to make you feel guilty, but you can see in Hendrix's actions that she feels guilty. And when I was reading that, I felt so like seen, because I know that I've shared my dad, he was someone who needed a lot of care. He needed help being bathed, and he needed help eating, and he needed help just with a lot of things. And especially towards the end, and like my mom was the sole caregiver for him, but there were times where she needed me to take him to a doctor's appointment, or you know, she would need me to like come to the house while she went somewhere else, because again, he had to have someone watching him at all times. And I remember feeling such guilt when I wouldn't go over there as often as I wanted to, or if she would ask me to do something, whenever I would need to shift around my schedule, I would never want to like gripe about it, because again, it's like, I love my dad, I love my mom, like I want to be there for them, but also at the same time, similarly to Hendrix, I'm trying to build this life, and I'm trying to build my career, and I'm trying to, you know, connect with my friends, and trying to also have my own life outside of this thing that's happening. And so it's such a hard thing to balance, and you get a lot of guilt, like a lot of guilt within that. And I feel like there aren't enough books that talk about caregiving, but also the guilt behind how you're feeling and how you're feeling navigating all of it. So I just felt very, very seen in that, because you can see she easily felt this guilt, and her aunt was like, hey, it's okay, you don't need to feel guilty. And she still had that feeling, even after her aunt said that. And so then I made a little note on page 100. Okay, so I want to read this part. It's not anything, again, that's groundbreaking. Nothing that I share in this vlog is going to be like a driver to the story. It's just going to be things that I feel like I connect with, kind of like what I've shared already. But in this part, there is a banquet that Hendrix goes to, and it's for her, she has like this company that is helping Black entrepreneurs get venture capital. It's part of her career. She has like 2 different careers, and you can really see like this is a very career heavy book, which I love, because I feel like you don't get that in the other books as much. And in this part, the person comes on the stage, and they're like giving a speech. And at the beginning they say, I know that for many of you, shoot, for me, there was a time when questioning Black girl magic would feel like sacrilege. It's our battle cry, our hashtag, our reassurance that there is maybe something mystical propelling us to rise above every obstacle every time. But we are not magic. We are resilient. It's not a wand, it's work. We work harder and shine brighter to survive. Excellence for us has been a matter of necessity. In a climate where less than half a percent of venture capital funding goes to Black women, women founders still perform 63% better than all male founding teams in the first round. With those odds, we can't leave our success to chance, and we for sure can't depend on magic, but we can depend on some of you. And then they start being like, you know, we're asking for you to donate, kind of thing. And then they go on to explain that there's someone who is in their like cohort who is like, you know, doing well with her business. And they were saying that she downsized her car, crowdfunded the first 6 figures to launch her company, and at one point in her journey took out a second mortgage on her house. That's not magic, that's sacrifice, that's grit. And I love that. I literally got chills while I was reading that, because so often we work 10 times as hard and still don't get what we deserve. And this book was highlighting that, and just like reading that, I could literally have read that over and over and over again, because I was like, yes, 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 100%, 100 freaking million %. And I feel like I resonated with that, because I obviously have been in the creator space for 3 years, but I can't even begin to tell you guys the stories that I have for all the things I've seen that are just like not equal across the board, and how I have to work so incredibly hard and never miss a deadline, and never, you know, question and edit, and never, like, all these things that other people who are not Black are able to do and still remain successful and still remain like in good graces. But it's like you have to be not even like just the average, you have to be like exceptional, and even still you're going to be someone that is like really having to put in that grit and sacrifice. And so when I read that, I was just like, wow, I could literally just die happy now reading that, because I felt so seen. And then on 105, there's a part where We've met Kendrick's assistant. We've also met Maverick's assistant, and I really feel like they need their own book. Genuinely, I feel like they need their own book, and if they don't get one, I will be very surprised, because it's kind of giving enemies to lovers vibes. And I mean, granted, I don't know, like, I haven't finished the book, and I also, like, it was just like a brief thing that I read, and there have been many times where I've read something in a book where there are like side characters that I really am loving and they don't end up getting a book. Perfect example is Jessa Hastings in the Magnolia Park series. Henry is so well loved by literally everyone, and she has said that he will not get his own book, and it's like, I'm obsessed with him, like, and he's had other like women and stuff that could easily, you know, just fall into a book, but like she has said he is not getting one. And so again, like, these characters could easily not get one, but I feel like if Kennedy Ryan continued a series and maybe did like a little spin-off into their story, that, I mean, oh my god, I would eat it up, because enemies to lovers is hard to do, but the way that it's written in this, it's written really well, at least from what I've read so far. And again, it's like, I don't even know if that's like a plot or if it's just something I'm like picking up on, but I really loved it. And then on page 111, there's a quote that I read and I was like, oh my god, I gotta see if I can find it. I don't know if it's at the bottom or the top. I feel like I've tried to find most of the quotes pretty quickly, but oh, it says, this whole encounter feels like I've fallen into a well and the rest of the world is above ground, completely oblivious that down here we're getting to know each other. It shouldn't be this easy to bear your soul, but I could stay at the bottom of this well all night, learning their secrets, their fears, sharing mine. Like, the way that Kennedy Ryan writes is just freaking poetic. Like, imagine someone said that to you, like, I would stay at the bottom of the well for you, like, or with you, just learning your secrets, your fears, your hopes, your dreams. The way she writes is unfreaking believable. So I'm going to read more of this today, but I had to give you guys like a recap, and as I read, I think I'll probably give you like in real time recap, but there was just so much that I read that I hadn't been able to update you guys on while I was on the plane, because it was like a pretty long plane ride. So anyway, gonna continue reading this, and I will give you guys my updates as I continue on. I didn't end up getting to show you guys the Kindle cases side by side. So this is the one that I already own. Absolutely love it. It has worked so well. It's so pretty. And then this is the one that I just bought. So I wanted to show you guys these side by side. They're definitely different, but they have similar like colors. So if you haven't seen them like next to each other, you could easily think that they're like the same thing, but they're definitely not. Very different. I will say, been loving my Paperwhite, and I think that this is a book that I will, or not a book, it's something I'll continue to use a lot. I really do love the size. And I also think that this is just like way easier to use when I am doing my hair and like eating. I gravitate towards it so much, so I'm always trying to read something on my Kindle just at all times, because there'll be times when I can't do my hair and I can't eat with like a physical book like this one, because it just like won't stay open, you know, like literally it's not gonna stay open. So the Kindle helps so much, and I feel like so many of you guys have asked, is a Kindle worth it? It's definitely worth it. Even for someone who reads physical books often, there are just times when it's like not really easy to read the physical book, and for me that's when I'm eating, and that's also when I'm doing my hair, which I do my hair every single day. So yeah, and then also whenever I read outside and it starts to get dark at the end of the day, I always like to pick up my Kindle. I've almost finished this book. I'm on chapter 43, so I'm pretty close to being done, and I absolutely love this. I do think that this is not a book that I would recommend to a new reader because like the writing is something you really have to like sit with and let sink in with you. Like Brittany Cherry's book, If You Stayed, love that book, and that is a book I would recommend to a new reader. But I feel like you have to be someone who's like read a lot of books and can like be okay sitting with something versus like needing the quick, you know, like I can't even explain it because like this is definitely a fast-paced book, but it's one that like you really need to savor. And I'm loving it. I just got to chapter 43 and that's page 337. And when I was on page 275, when I was reading outside, there was something that came up that like really made me think a lot about like how I've grown as a person. And there's a part, well, also another part that I was literally swooning over. And the quote, it says, being good to you means wanting what's best for you. If there's an upper hand, baby, I don't want it. I know I'm asking you to take a big risk, but all I can do is promise that I'll never try to hurt you, and I'll do everything to protect you. I'll do everything in my power to make sure you don't regret choosing me, and I'll protect your dreams as fiercely as I chase my own. I just thought that quote was so swoon worthy, and anyone who can give not a full monologue, but like a mini monologue like that, I eat it up every single time. But on 275, she's really like Hendrix is really someone who's like always been independent, and she has not had to rely on anyone else, but she's always there like for her friends. And there comes a point where she feels like she needs to relinquish a little bit of control, but she like doesn't want to because that's just like not her MO. Like she's just not ever been anyone who's like actively relied on somebody. And this part like really made me think about how like whenever Brady and I first got together, I was very much like the same way where like with Hendrix, she was like, I can do it on my own. I don't like, you know, I need you, but I don't need you for things that like I can do by myself. Like I need you, you know, to show me your love. And like I need you to be a good partner, but I don't need you to like take care of me and all that stuff. And you see Hendrix in this book kind of like she's at odds with this whole like, can I be vulnerable in this way with someone else and let them take care of me? And I feel like it took me years, literally years, for me to like relinquish my need for like control, but also to be like hyper independent. And I think that a big part of that is like, you have to fully trust the person that you're with, that if you do relinquish that control, that they're gonna like, you know, hold your heart with care and like take care of you. And I actually shared something on my podcast. I did an episode on Friday about like things I wish I knew in my 20s about marriage. And one of the things that I said was that a healthy partnership is like realizing that you can, what did I say? I can't even remember exactly what I said. I think it was something like you can be independent, but you don't have to, or you don't need to anymore. And that you're like able to like let go of that and allow someone to like love you, something like along those lines. And, again, I feel like it took me a really long time to learn that. So seeing Hendrix kind of like go through that way of thinking, being like, can I allow someone to take care of me? Is that possible for me in my 40s when I've like always done everything on my own? It's like really cool to see, but I'm definitely gonna finish this tonight. Or either, if not tonight, by tomorrow morning for sure. So I'll give you guys an update then, but I'm loving this, and I'm gonna be so sad when it's over, but I do hope she comes out with a book for another character in here that I mentioned that I've like also been really loving. I can't even begin to explain how much I absolutely love this book. The writing in this is so beautiful, and the way that it ends is just, it's everything that I needed. And I was getting so emotional at the end of this because we're done. We are done with the Skyline series. Like, it's just so sad because the story, I feel like, is one that so many people will resonate with, not only for the romance, but also for like the found family and the platonic love that you see in this story that I feel like you don't see in a lot of other romances. It is just so beautiful, so beautiful. I also love how Kennedy Ryan referenced Grip from her other series, and she also referenced August from the Hoop series, and I just thought that that was really cool. It was like a little note to like all the other books she's written, and it makes me want to finish the rest of those series because I started Flow, which is the first book in the, I think it's called the Grip trilogy, and then I started oh my gosh, there's literally an ant on my arm, what the heck. But I started the first book in the Hoop series, which is called Long Shot, and I haven't read the rest of either books in the series. So now I want to read the rest of those. I just love her writing. It's so good. I feel like if you're someone who doesn't normally read romance, I think you'll really enjoy this book because there's so many other elements in this outside of the romance, but also the romance is so beautiful as well. I will say this is definitely spicier than the first and second book in the series, and I don't think it's like overly spicy in a sense. It's like if you're not a big spice reader that you won't like it, but it definitely has more like things in the bedroom that they experiment with, which you don't really see in the other books. But I mean, it's Hendrix, like what do you expect? So Hendrix is such a vibrant, fun personality. I would also expect her to have a vibrant and fun life in the bedroom as well. But 5 stars, not even a question. I was so serious when I was talking about what I thought I would rate this book with Brady when I said that after 8 pages I thought it would be 5 stars. I actually felt like that. I genuinely felt like that. I will say this is a book, again, you have to really sit with and savor. You guys saw that I started this book. I think I picked it up on Tuesday and I started it on Wednesday, and it's Sunday now. And usually I'm someone who reads books a little quicker than that, just because, yeah, I usually read like, I don't know, 3 to 4 books a week. And I feel like for a book that is this size, I would have probably breezed through it a little quicker, but I wanted to really savor this because, again, it's one of those books that you really need to sit with. It just has so many deeper elements in the book that I feel like you really need to dive into. Also, the book has recipes in it, and it also has some, like a little playlist that you can listen to, and there's also a reader's guide. So if you want to use this for a reading group, you can definitely do that as well. I just feel like Kennedy Ryan knows what she's doing when she's writing something, and she definitely does it well in this. And I cannot get enough of her books, and I need to pick them up more often. Sometimes I feel like if I love an author, I want to like hold their books off and like savor them and like wait to read them. And I haven't read a book by Kennedy Ryan since, I don't think I've read anything since This Could Be Us. I think that that was the last book that I read, and that was last year. So I definitely want to read more of her books this year. She has so many on her backlist, and I also have so many books on my shelf that I have not picked up. This says, this one's for the girls who are fighting through fire, foraging for their ferocity for the first time, for the girls rediscovering their strength that they buried under servitude. This one's for the girls who've been pushed down, beat down, or put down because they didn't want you to discover how strong they truly are. This one's for the girls whose lives are dedicated to those they love with joy without reciprocal respect or recognition. This one's for the girls, this is in the acknowledgement. This one's for the girls who extend grace and compassion to everyone else, making allowances for others' behavior, but are quick to find fault with and disparage themselves or yourselves. This one's for the girls who were told you were too much or too little, too boisterous or too broken, and walk around minimizing or masking who you are to ensure acceptance. This one's for the girls who need a reminder of what a masterpiece looks like, a reminder that you can look internally and in the mirror and discover your true potential and your divinely crafted beauty and fall in love with the most important person in your life, you. This one's for the girls who don't need a partner to complete their lives or justify their worth, but whose powerful presence and radiance attract the kind of love they deserve. This one's for the girls whose hearts cried out for understanding, for compassion, and receive this, a symbol of solidarity, a love letter to celebrate both who we are and who we could be. Wow. Just, I mean, if you've never read anything by Kennedy Ryan, that's a perfect example of like how her books sound and feel as you read them. This is just so beautiful. So I hope you guys pick up this book for yourself if you hadn't. Obviously, I read this really quick. You guys will be getting this video a week from the release of this book. So if you're someone who hasn't read this, hopefully this inspires you to pick up one of her books. And if you have read this book, hopefully you just feel like you had a little book club date with a bestie. So yeah, I'll see you guys on Saturday in the next one. Bye guys.